Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. Apologies that the last few videos have been kind of sporadic, but it's been a mix of stressful times at work and not feeling 100%, plus I haven't really done much theatring recently, so all of those wrapped into one kind of amalgamates to a lack of videos. But hopefully we're back and we're cooking, because I have a few reviews coming up, starting with one of a show that I saw on its first week of its UK tour, and that show, my friends, is the one, the only, Pretty Woman the musical. So if you want to know my thoughts and feelings on this show and its UK tour, then stick around and we'll get into it in 2 whole seconds. So this show, if you have been with me for a while, you will know this wasn't a first experience of this show. I have seen it 3 times in the West End. There's something about this show. The songs are great. This plot is one that we all know and love because it is from a very well-known film, and when they announced closure in the West End, I got a little bit sad until they went, hold on a second, we're not just going to disappear. No, we're going to do a UK tour. And I was like, okay, then can you not disappear full stop? We'll get into that another day. But it was the gift that just kept giving when they announced we're going to go and take it on tour. Because, like I said, it's a well-known film and it has to keep going. Just saying. If you are aware of the film, or if you've seen the film but you don't know much about the musical, a little bit of information for you. The book of this show has been written by Gary Marshall and J.F. Lawton. Gary Marshall, who is the brains behind many a classic film, including Pretty Woman, also my personal favourite, Princess Diaries. And the music of the show was, music and lyrics should I say, were written by Brian Adams and Jim Valant. So you know you're in a good crowd when you have all those names in one show. For me, the music is just so catchy. It's unlike anything else. It's not a jukebox musical. It has its music in its own right, and it's a show where the music isn't that you can listen to regardless if you are a stagey person who loves all things jazzy and everything, or if you are one of those people that kind of just gets dragged along to musicals, like my family. This tour production has exactly the same feel in my eyes to the West End production, and I assume to the Broadway production, which I have never seen. The set is the same set which has been designed by David Rockwell, and direction and choreography, which initially was done by Jerry Mixtrell. So if you've seen the show previously, you will know what to expect at what time. Pretty much the exact show that was done in the West End is done on tour. Some of these things don't work to its advantage. For example, and I was talking to my friend who also has seen the show a couple of times, there is one thing that happens in Act 2 which kind of doesn't translate on the tour like it used to in the West End, and that is basically because there is a lack of a lift front stage. I'm not spoiling anything by saying this, but in the West End, Act 2, just before I Can't Go Back, a man used to come from central stage, below decks, so to speak, and he used to rise up pretty much undressed. He was in like swimming shorts, and the idea was that he'd just come out the swimming pool. He gets kind of swarmed by 2 females. He'd run off stage. The tour version, however, has the same semi-naked guy, but he just strolls on from the side, gets kind of attacked by those two women, as was in the West End production. However, he walks on, then runs off. It kind of makes a little less sense. But that is just because I know the show quite well. To most people, yeah, it was an acceptable piece of direction, but it just didn't feel the same as a guy coming off from nowhere or out from nowhere, but that is just personal preference. But apart from that little niggle from a little fan, I just truly believe it had the same kind of feel, and it just felt like someone had took the whole thing from the Savoy, picked it up and dropped it in the Birmingham Alex, and I am truly grateful for that. Obviously the thing that makes it truly different is the cast, of which they were amazing. Again, I saw it in its first week of the tour, and it truly already felt like a well-oiled machine. I really enjoyed watching everybody do their thing. This production is led by Amber Davis, who is playing Vivian on the tour, apart from a couple of venues where it will be her understudy Ellie J. Side note, but I saw Ellie do Vivian in London. She is amazing, so if she's going to be your Vivian, you're in for a treat. She is a pocket rocket, but she is absolutely amazing and you'll be wowed. But back to Amber, she was so interesting to watch. I previously have seen her in 9 to 5 and was blown away by her voice then, and it's same again this time round. For the most part, the role of Vivian is a powerful sing, and she did that role justice. I really enjoyed listening to her throughout the show, and yeah, she was really amazing to watch. Edward Lewis on this tour is being played by Oliver Saville. Unfortunately for me, and I'm starting to take it a bit, what's the word, personally, because for the second time this year / last year, I did not see Ollie Saville on. He was unfortunately not on my show, and we got understudy Edward, who was played by the one, the only Ben Darcy. Ben actually was with the show in London, where he was, I believe, ensemble understudy Stucky, I think. On this tour he is full-time Stucky understudy Edward, and he was brilliant. I felt like his version of Edward was something different. I just got a different vibe from Ben's version of Edward. Almost a kindness that you don't get with some Edwards that I've seen previously. And I just really enjoyed watching him be the good guy, seeing as though the last time I saw the show he was the bad guy in Philip Stucky. So yeah, I thought that Ben was amazing in the role of Edward, and like I say, I saw him in Stucky, or I saw him as Stucky in London, and if you see him playing that role, then you are in for a treat, because he can play the bad guy as well as he can play the good guy. Vivian's best friend Kit, or Kit DeLuca, in this production is played by the amazing Natalie Paris. I was so excited to hear that Natalie was going to be Kit on tour. We all know from Six fame that Natalie has an insane voice. She rocked Kit DeLuca like no other. I love the role of Kit anyway, because she is a badass female, and Natalie was amazing in that role. For people who don't know Natalie well, they were introduced to a powerhouse, a vocal powerhouse, and yeah, she was just amazing to sit and watch. I could have sat and watched the Kit DeLuca show all evening and I would not have complained. I would have loved that. But yeah, she was absolutely amazing to watch, and I'm just so glad that they have cast Natalie in that role, because she is just top notch. Don't know where the click came from. The last of the principals, we shall say, is Happy Man / Mr. Thompson / many other roles, because Happy Man is pretty much always on stage. Happy Man on this tour is played by, and I hope I don't butcher his surname, but it's Ore Aduba. Ore knew how to work the room. Obviously he has a lot of entertainment background. He has become more of a theatre actor recently. He was on tour with Rocky Horror on one of the recent tours. May have even been the one that has been around this year, but don't quote me on that. He knew how to work the room, and there was even a little nod to his Strictly past in Act 2. Is it Act 2 or Act 1? On a night like tonight, whichever act that is in, there was a little Strictly nod that has never been in the show before, so that was quite nice to see. I feel like Ore is going to improve as the show goes on in that role, because Happy Man, as the name describes, is quite forward and like a powerful point in the show. And I feel like as the show progresses and as the loving crowds push him forth, he will get exponentially better and better. Not that he was bad in the show, but I feel like he's still getting into the role as the shows progress, if that makes sense. The rest of the cast and ensemble were amazing. They are obviously a tour cast, so it felt a little bit more warm and family-like, and also quite close-knit. One last mention for ensemble / named roles is the role of Julio, who is played on tour by Noah Harrison. I have to say that Noah's portrayal of Julio was one of my favourite characters on the night. Julio, if you don't know the show, is kind of... Is it called a... But no, it's not a bus boy. Bellhop. He works in the hotel. I should have just said that. It'd been a lot easier and I wouldn't embarrass myself. But he kind of befriends Vivian and Kit, and he also is kind of the right-hand man to Mr. Thompson, who is the owner, or who is the manager of the hotel. But I've always loved the role of Julio. It's one of my favourite roles in the entire show, like I said. But the way that Noah did it was just one of my favourite performances of the evening, and I had to put it out there and mention it because I really enjoyed it. So like I said at the beginning, I knew going in that I would enjoy this show. I have seen it a few times in my lifetime in London, and it's definitely one of those shows which is a safety show for me. It's one that I know I can sit and watch and enjoy, and regardless of what's happening in my life, how I'm feeling, if I'm 100%, if I'm 10%, if I'm under the weather, if I'm right as rain, I know that that is a show that I can go and sit and watch and enjoy and love. From the moment that the music starts, I am fully invested. and I can safely say that this UK tour production has definitely got this show safely in its hands. So if you are a fan of the London production like me, or if you are interested in seeing this show as it does its tour, please do go and check it out. It is such a joy to watch, and whether you get the full cast or you get understudies, they are all amazing and you will have an amazing time. So yeah, go and check it out and let me know your thoughts and feelings, or if you're going to go and see it, in the comments down below. But that is it, I'm going to leave you be. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I shall hopefully see you for more theatre chat next time. I love you all lots. See ya later. Bye.